Good morning, everyone. I'm super excited to be hanging out with you virtually. Sorry I can't be with you live today, but I'm hanging out with my second graders right now. So without any further ado, I'm going to share my science welcome screen and you can see what we will need today to be successful. Perfect. If you will see that today we're going to want to have a notebook. I know Mr. Lober gave you guys a little brown notebook that we jot notes down and do projects in. So go get that out. If it's full, no worries. You can use a sheet of scratch paper. I'd love it if you had a pencil. We are going to do some writing activities and some note taking today. And last but not least, colored pencils or markers. I believe these are super important in science in moving short-term knowledge into our long-term hippocampus. So colors are key with science with me. After you have your materials, please open your notebook to a blank page. I'll give you a couple seconds to get ready, and then we'll go over our learning goals for today. Awesome. So I think that we're set. So this week is Halloween and Dia de los Muertos, which is a super fun week in science that I always love to talk about our mysterious, fantastic, kind of a little bit gross brain. So our Halloween science goals for today, first, we're going to do a quick little writing activity to let me know what you already know about your brain. I'm going to show you a short video that I think is a great little intro to brain science, neuroplasticity, and growth mindset. You may have heard some of those words before. I'm going to teach you a little bit of a lesson and remind you on the differences in fixed versus growth mindset. Then I'll introduce your independent activity for today. So without further ado, please open those notebooks. And I'm going to set a 3-minute timer. We'll listen to some tunes. And please journal. What do you know about your brain? Go ahead and jot those notes down in your notebook. 3 minutes starts now.
Celebrating, exploring, all the knowledge that we gain is storing, can't ignore it. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, every day I wake up, brush my teeth and put my clothes on. It's about to be a good day. Eat my breakfast at the school, feeling so strong. Knowing everybody could say a simple greeting that we treating to everybody we meeting. It feel like a broken record, we'll repeat it. But I can't say good morning enough. It may help somebody else if their morning was rough. Let's go on in. I'm excited you're invited to join in. We got the classroom rocking, we going in. And everybody steady saying good morning, good morning, good morning. We flying high in education, we're soaring. And every day we celebrating, exploring. All the knowledge that we gain is storing. Can't ignore it. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Every day I walk in the class, I have to set a good tone. Cause it starts with myself. I feel like this a really, really good song. From the heart it was felt. I'm prepping for the day, got my lessons on the page. Sharpen up my pencils, it's refreshing just to say. Good morning to the teachers, good morning to the students. Let's have a good day. Good morning is the movement. Good morning. I'm excited you're invited to join in. We got the classroom rocking, we going in. And everybody steady saying good morning, good morning, good morning. We flying high in education, we're soaring. And every day we celebrating, exploring. All the knowledge that we gain is storing. Can't ignore it. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, good morning.
Awesome. So since I'm not there with you and we're all hanging out solo today, I would love it if you would take a minute, pop that notebook back, and just read through those statements. What do you know about your brain? Sometimes with reflection, more things come to your prefrontal cortex and in your memory. Awesome. So I'm sure you big, wonderful fifth graders know a lot more about your brain than some of my younger second and third grade students. So kudos to you. I appreciate you just taking a moment to be mindful, even though my tunes were a little bit upbeat, to think about your brain and what do you know and access your memories in your hippocampus. So without any further ado, I want to show you a quick video. It's one of my favorites. There's a lot of information packed in 3 minutes. So while we're watching, if you will jot down a couple notes, some things that you hear, big takeaways, things that are important to you, you can use the same sheet of paper, just draw a line under your brainstorm to start taking some notes. I'll make this guy big and beautiful for us all. And here we go.
So this is your brain. Say hi. Okay, it's a representation of your brain. Brains don't have hands, they have lobes and other structures, which we'll get to. But I want to talk to you about your brain. You see, your brain is capable of incredible things. But I think a lot of times we can feel pretty down on our brains, on old Thinky Pinky here. We beat up on them, say bad things about our brain's abilities. You know, say we have trouble understanding a subject in school or solving problems or learning a new skill. It's easy to say, oh, I'm not smart. I'll always be this way. Hey, stop doing that. What we think of as intelligence, what we think of as smartness, is not fixed, is not stuck in one place, is not permanent. Your brain can improve. Your brain can grow. Come with me on a journey of discovery. Here we go. Into the brain. Excuse me, coming in hot. This is a thing called a neuron. Oh, hey, welcome to the inside of your brain. A neuron is a brain cell. There's over 100 billion of these things making up your brain. Put it this way, there are over 13 times more neurons in your skull than there are human beings on Earth. A lot of them. They're the cells that help you think. Mind you, a single neuron, and let's call her Nellie. Hi, Nellie the neuron. Nellie, on her own, can't do all the thinking your brain needs to even pick up a glass of water. Fortunately, she's got friends. There's Dendrite Dave, there's Alonzo the axon, there's Magna Myelin, and look, little Sally Synapse, so teensy tiny. Your brain behaves like a muscle. If you're serious about lifting weights, right, and you keep it up on a regular basis for a long period of time, weeks, months, years, you're gonna develop muscles. But you don't grow muscles by doing nothing. It takes effort. It takes struggle, repeated failures, in fact. You mess up, and then you learn, and then eventually you manage to jump the log or whatever problem you're trying to solve. Wait, we've lost focus here. Back to neurons. When you struggle, your neurons are struggling too, and that's important because when neurons struggle, they lean on each other. They make connections. They start to form this densely connected network inside your brain, allowing little jolts of electricity to pass down them more and more efficiently. That's thinking faster. That's your brain getting smarter. That's your brain muscle getting swole, kid. So the next time you say to yourself, I can't do this, I'm just too dense, remember that brain density is your friend. In fact, the denser you are, the more connections between Nellie and her neuron pals that you've got inside your brain, the stronger and more powerful your thinking parts become. The more you work through your frustrations with the right learning strategies, the more your neurons get more used to working together, the closer you are to being that much smarter. Now get out there and do your best. Don't give up, grow those brains, and remember, you can learn anything.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you another minute or two to jot down the notes from the video, anything that you heard, any big takeaways before I drop some knowledge on you guys. Give you about 30 seconds. All right. So a couple big takeaways from that video, okay? And as I'm chatting, and I know we're not together, but as we're chatting, you can jot some more notes down, or if you have any questions, you can always hit me up with an email. So our brain, Okay, lots of different pieces. Pieces you may have heard of before: your amygdala, your hippocampus, your prefrontal cortex, your amygdala, your cerebellum, your cerebrum. Lots of pieces that all work together in your brain. A very important element of your brain are neurons. Okay, so neurons are present in all areas of your brain. And what a neuron does is it sends an electrical signal, which you saw, through the little dendrites. Those are the little finger pieces of the neuron. Okay, so if you have spoken today, had a thought, written something down, eaten, or exercised, you have been using pieces of your brain. Now, all pieces of those brains have utilized your neurons signaling. So, for example, I just thought, hey, you're a little bit thirsty. My signals in my brain, neurons were firing, zing, 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 sending to my hand, making me pick up and swig water. Okay, so if you've done anything today, thought anything today, got out of your bed today, you have already fired off millions of neurons. Neurons firing, okay? And when they fire, they take the finger looking pieces and they zing, 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 zing. And so that's happening all in your brain all throughout the day. So that may be if you've ever had like a really long lesson with a teacher or a really long workout session, you're kind of wiped afterwards because the neurons have been firing nonstop. You've had millions of thoughts. After a long day of school, you may be wiped, okay? Because your neurons have been firing all day. That's one reason that we're more fresh in the morning than we are in the afternoon, because we've had less neurons firing in the morning. Okay, another really important thing is when we make mistakes, our neurons connect and grow. Kind of counterintuitive, right? I don't know about you guys, but I don't like to make mistakes and I don't like to do things that I'm not good at. And so by keeping myself away from spin class or speed jump roping, I'm actually keeping my brain from growing. Instead of going to spin class, being horrible, being slow, being last place, my brain is growing. I'm like, okay, cool. This is how you don't put your feet in the pedals. Okay, speed jump roping, you just smacked yourself in the forehead. This is how you don't do it. By making mistakes, your neurons are firing and getting ideas on how to do it better next time. By doing that, your brain is growing. So making mistakes help us learn. That's so very important, that even though things may be tricky or hard or working our brain out, our brain is growing. Okay. Another thing that's really important that we learned in that video is that intelligence is not fixed. Our brain can grow. We are not a math person or not a math person. We are not smart or dumb. Our brain can grow. It's not a fixed thing. We can change it. As our brain grows, we get more smarter. We knew how to do more things. It's the same reason that when you were 3 years old, you probably couldn't tie your shoes, didn't know how to use a computer, had never heard of Google Classroom, and now you're a fully functioning 5th grader who knows how to do all of those things. Your brain's grown. Just like your body's gotten bigger, your brain's gotten bigger. So I want to share some slides with you and introduce you to some new vocabulary. Growth and fixed mindset. We just talked about how intelligence is not fixed, meaning I'm smart, I'm not. I'm good at this, I'm not. This is the best, this is the worst. Fixed mindset implies that you don't think you can get any smarter. Now, sometimes when I pop into your classes, I hear some of you guys use language that makes me think that in the moment you're having a fixed mindset. So let's go over some of the languages that give me these clues, okay? For my little kids, I may hear, I can't tie my shoes. Or this is the worst, this lab sucks, this is super hard. Or my hypothesis was wrong. I don't know how to do geospheres, Mr. Lober. Or, I can't write my science notebook anymore. I just don't know how to spell. This is the worst drawing, Miss Patterson. I don't understand the brain, it's too hard. That's implying to me and Mr. Lober that you believe your intelligence is fixed, that you believe you won't be able to understand geospheres, that you won't be able to understand the brain, that you don't want to exercise your brain and your neurons. Okay? Take a second. Have you ever heard yourself use any of that speech before? If so, in those moments, you are utilizing a fixed mindset. I would love to invite you today to adopt the growth mindset. Growth mindset implies that maybe I don't know how to do it now, but I can figure it out. For example, I'm not very good at spin class yet. It implies that I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to figure out. I'm going to keep challenging my neurons and growing my brain, and I'll figure it out. I could say, I'm not very good at speed jump roping yet. It implies that I didn't throw my jump rope away and never try it again. It implies that I'm going to keep working on it, asking my neurons to fire and growing my brain. So here's some examples of some yet statements that we could use. Oh, Mr. Lober, my hypothesis wasn't correct yet. Or I'm not quite finished with that project yet, Mr. Lober, but I'm going to keep working on it. Or Ms. Patterson, I haven't finished that project yet, but I'm super excited to get it done and turn it into you. By adding the word yet to a statement, you're actually triggering neurons in your brain. And we know what happens when neurons get triggered. They send electrical pulses to other neurons, they stretch and they grow your brain. So by simply adding a 3-letter word to statements, you're changing your mindset, you're firing off neurons, and you're growing your brain, which is pretty remarkable, if I do say so myself. So I would love to talk about the rest of class today. I'm in the science lab, and it's kind of bare. You guys haven't been here. Mr. Lober and I only come one day a week. There's nothing on the walls, and we're really missing some of your beautiful artwork. So I would really love it if for the rest of class that you would work on a growth mindset poster that we could hang in the lab. And I'll show you the instructions. They're actually posted on Google Classroom in your classwork. Right here, you can see, and the wording may be a little different than Mr. Lober's, but I'm not Mr. Lober, so we can flow with it for today. I would love for you to create an informational graphic or poster displaying the differences in having a growth mindset and having a fixed mindset. Please activate your creativity, get inspired, make it funky, make it wonderful, make it you. And I would love it that since we're in 5th grade, I'm used to working with 2nd, 3rd grade friends, please use detail and be very specific when you include words and images. For example, I would not expect for you to have this much text or writing on your poster. If it's hanging up in the lab, we want it to have more images than words, if that makes sense. Okay, I do want you to be creative. I want you to have fun. Please submit these via Google Classroom. I can't wait to go on and download them and start printing them and posting them up all in the lab. If you have any questions, please email me. I'll put my email link that you can just reply and send me an email if you have any questions. But I really appreciate your time. I'm bummed I didn't get to be with you in person, but next time we'll make it happen so I can see all your faces in person. So have a great day and email me if you have any questions. Bye.